everybody, Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. 2,500 point battle, so yeah, you get to see a little bit more of my chaotic goodness. No, it's not really good. It's chaotic neutral-ish, maybe? Chaotic evil. Alright, you win. But, yep, Lord Tremendous of the Warriors of Chaos, that's me, versus Vermintide, the Skaven. This is a newer player to our, well, local store. A real cool guy, just picked up Skaven and is learning. But, you know, he told me to come at him. He wanted me to do the battle report and everything like that. And this guy is good. I was very, very happy to see that somebody could pick up the Skaven and be as good as he was with him. But you know what? Don't take my word for it. Sit back, relax, and get ready to see how we kick the crap out of each other. It's a lot of fun. Here's my list, 2,500 points, slight changes to it, not a huge big deal, but hopefully you'll enjoy them as much as I, and if not, well, too bad, it's my list, I can do whatever the heck I want with it. I still have my Demon Prince, Lord Tremendous. He's still got the Mark Tzeentch, Chaos Armor, Wings, Charm Shield, Dragon Vein Gem, other Trickster Shard, Soul Feeder, Flaming Breath, and Scaled Skin. And I've had a few people ask me, you know, if I like the Demon Prince, all combated out, you know, why not just take a Chaos Lord, you know, why all the points in a Demon Prince? Well, for the same kind of kick buttery that a Demon Prince can do, he's about 50 to 100 points cheaper than a kitted out Chaos Lord with the same. Granted, a Chaos Lord could get a better ward save and stuff like that. He's still not unbreakable. There's no way to make a Chaos Lord unbreakable. Leaving him out on his own is kind of dangerous. Not as much as maybe a Demon Prince because you can up his ward save, sure. But when you get into combat and you lose by 6, and you're all by yourself, even with the Crown of Command, he's Leadership 9. And God knows I can fail leadership checks, so... yeah, having the Demon Prince with this particular kit out is 395 points, which, considering what you would pay for a character normally, that's dirt cheap. And to have everything on there that I have, and because I just really like the model, I'm going to probably keep my Combat Demon Prince of Tzeentch on the table for a long time. My hero choices are my Exalted Hero, Lady Elizabeth. She's got the Mark of Tzeentch, Halberd, Chaos Deed, BSB, Helm of Many Eyes, and the Dawnstone. She loses Poisonous Slime, but that was so that I could fit in my new hero choices, which are my Chaos Sorcerer, Catastrophe. He's a level 2 wizard with the Mark of Tzeentch. He's on a disc of Tzeentch now, with the Enchanted Shield, Dispel Scroll, Luckstone, and the Lore of Tzeentch. And the reason that he's on a disc now is because with this guy, it's mobility. He is supposed to be going out there and just tearing it up with his 2 hopefully, you know, Magic Missiles, Bolt of Change would be great, Gateway would be great. Honestly, any of the direct damage spells would be great. And so, yeah, that's his job. He's got to get in a position. He's got to outmaneuver fast cav. And what better way to do that than on a disc? Yeah, he's no longer got toughness 5 or 3 wounds on the disc. But the disc is actually like 5 points cheaper than the demonic mount. And infinitely faster. And I can fly over units. And it's smaller. Well, it's not really smaller, but you get the idea. Bottom line is I think the disc of Tzeentch is a better choice. Whether or not that it turns out to be right is really up to how my battle reports go. But yeah, and I gave him the Luckstone because I had 5 extra points, and why not, right? And then last but not least is my Chaos Sorcerer, Firebug. He's a level 1 wizard on a Chaos Steed. He's got the Dragon Helm, the Chaos Familiar, and he uses the Lore of Fire. And he's just my backup magic missile. I went with Lore of Fire simply because the Fireball spell is incredibly versatile. It can, you know, get rid of regen on a unit of trolls for, you know, a magic phase so that my Tzeentch caster can get his spells off. If my Tzeentch caster is really concentrating fire and Warp Flame gives a unit a high regen save, the Lore of Fire guy can come in there and really throw a wrench into the works. Just stuff like that. Plus, with like the Fulminating Flame Cage, Fireball, of course, what else? The Burning Skull, all those spells, even the, what is it? The sword, the Flaming Sword spell that you can do where all your attacks become magical and flaming. That's really huge against the unit, you know, because I don't have the Banner of Eternal Flame anymore. So it's just things like that. Yeah, I know I only got I only got 2d6 to roll at and possibly get it, but it's better than having 0d6. And I just like the combo, to be honest. And I made a really cool, conversion model for Firebug, which I actually don't have any pictures of yet. I apologize for that. But I will get some, and I will put them up on the battle report in the future, or maybe you'll finally get a close-up view on him when he does something really good. But, yeah, I've rambled enough about that. So here are my core choices. They really haven't changed. 5 Chaos Warhound, the Corn Dogs. 18 Chaos Warriors, the Reavers of Ulthuan, with Mark of Corn, Halberds, Full Command, and Banner of Rage. 15 Forsaken, Corn's Forgotten, with the Mark of Corn. And my special choices are my 5 Chaos Knights, Elizabeth's Honor Guard, with Mark Zinch and Sorcered Weapons, Banner, Musician, and the Standard of Discipline. And he's still in the list. I'm still glad that he's back. My Chimera. Trifection! And he still has Regen and Venomous Ooze. My rare choice is the one, the only, the keystone to my army, my Mutalith Vortex. Ah, yes, Snuffleupagus. How can you not love the beast? My opponent's list, I didn't get. I did take some pictures, but it was on his iPad, and they were just kind of like from the hip, and the pictures were glared, so I really couldn't see what he had. He didn't have a copy to give me or anything like that, because like I said, it was on the iPad. I didn't get his list. I blame society. I apologize. Here are my spells, which are 2 from Fire and 2 from Zinch, and of course a Beast spell, but there's still no card for that, so what can you do? And my opponent didn't have any cards, and like I said, his stuff was all on the iPad, so he like pushed the buttons. I took pictures, but I mean, you know how the Skaven spells work, where they take some from Vermin and some from like Pestilence or whatever, Death. I don't know how it works out, but bottom line is, he had a ton of spells. There was no way I could remember which had which, so I don't have his spells down, but as they go off, I'll let you know what happened. Here's deployment, and as you can see, well, I pretty much went with Surround 'em. I put the Beast and my Disc Caster on the left side with the hopes that my Beast would be able to get into the, what's it called, this little skirmishing unit up there, the Globadiers, I think. Meanwhile, I was going to send my Disc up to deal with that cannon. If I could charge it, great. If I could magic it off the table, that's great. I had some good Zinch spells that was going to, possibly help me take out the cannon. But the Beast was really just supposed to be the target for the cannon and everything, so that the Disc could go in and take out the cannon and then start working its magic on the Warpfire teams, as little engineer teams, or just start lowering the numbers of these infantry blocks before my warriors and everything got in there. Yeah, I don't like to use the sacrifice play for the Beast, but the Beast also has regen. There was no flaming attacks that I was aware of, so it wasn't entirely unprotected, but that was the hope, and that's where I was going with that. My Knights, my Warriors, the Dogs, and Firebug were, in the middle with the Forsaken, and they were just going to slam into whatever they could as quick as they could, because with Skaven, you got to get in combat early, you got to get in combat fast, and you got to just start whittling them away as fast as you can. I don't have artillery. My magic phase isn't something I want to rely on. It's supposed to be an accent now, not a main brunt force type of deal. So I wanted to get him into combat as quick as I could to start dealing with all these infantry before the shooting could really wither my troops. And the Demon Prince and the Trifection are over on the right flank, and their job was to literally start on the right side and on the left side, just destroy every single ret they could get a hold of until either they were both dead or the game was over. So that's why I deployed as is. Here's my opponent's right flank, and I'm going to do the best I can. I don't know Skaven perfectly, and I don't have a list to go off of, so what we got there in the back is his Warp Lightning Cannon. In the front there are the Globadiers, I believe, a little skirmishing unit there, and behind them are the Plague Monks, I believe, and I don't think there's any character in that unit at all. But, I mean, it's coming along, and, for a guy who just picked up this army and is working on it, it's pretty good, in my opinion. Here's his center. On the left there, I believe those are clan rats. No, those are slaves. He's got a unit of slaves there on the left side. In the middle are clan rats. There's 2 of those mortar teams in the middle there. One's attached to that unit in the back. One's attached to the unit to our right. And that unit to our right, I believe, is a unit of slaves. And behind them are a unit of storm vermin, and inside there is his general, which is the Fighty Lord character. I believe his BSB is in there as well. In the unit to our right in the front there, the slaves, I think he's got a Warlock Engineer in there. In the middle unit, I know he's got a Warlock Engineer. And on the left side there, he's got a Warlock Engineer as well. So a lot of engineers, a lot of craziness going on. And here's my opponent's left flank, which consists of a bunch of giant rats with a little giant rat herder, I guess. I'm not really sure what it's called. And behind that, everybody knows it if you've ever played Skaven. It's a Doom Wheel. It's a Doom Wheel. Here's my right flank, which consists of Trifection and my Demon Prince, Lord Tremendous. Here's my center. From right to left, there's my Forsaken. There's my Corn Warriors in the back there. In front of them are the Corn Dogs. To my left are the Knights with Lady Elizabeth, and behind them is Firebug. And if you kind of look close, you can kind of tell it's the Chaos Chariot mount for Chaos Steed, and on top of it is a Malifaux guy, little goblin with a gun, basically. But the gun is like a revolver with like 12 barrels. It's really funny. He's got a big smile. I'll get a picture of it. He's perfect for my army. And here's my left flank, which consists of Catastrophe on a disc, and my Beast, because I love my Beast. Here's top of 1 after movement, and I got to go first! I've been winning a lot of rolls to go first lately. I think my opponents are taking pity on me. That, or I'm just blowing all my good luck before the GT. One of the two. But, yep, everything shoots up, because like I said before in deployment, when you're fighting Skaven, you get in fast, you get in dirty, and you just start slaughtering them as fast as you can. The less dice your opponent has to throw at you, the better. But my Demon Prince and my Chimera run up the right flank there, and the hope was that his Doom Wheel rolls low and he has to shoot his own unit, and then I could get into the Doom Wheel with one of my flyers and kill it, break it, run it down, whatever, but kill it before it could shoot and kill either of them, because I think it's like 3 shots that do D6 wounds each at like strength artillery die, which is just insane. Just insane. The Forsaken, the Dogs, the Knights, the Corn Warriors, even Firebug, everybody runs up as fast as they can, as well as my Beast and my Disc. They're everything. Max march as fast as they can. Nothing else occurs, though. My magic phase is dispelled rather easily. I think he uses a scroll, and his dispel dice were just rolling 5s and 6s like it was going out of style. I don't have any shooting, because real men don't need it, so we go to bottom of 1 after movement. And as you can see, he moves some. His skirmishers run up to kind of surround the forest. I think he saw that my disc was getting ready to do some shenanigans and stuff. So I was a little worried there. I really didn't want to see how well the Globadiers could fire at my disc guy. But he moved him up enough that I thought maybe the Beast could make the charge, so I was excited about that. The Plague Monks move up, and his unit of Clan Rats in the middle there, they move up, and which gives the Knights a beautiful shot at them, so I was looking forward to that. Meanwhile, his conga line of rats comes up, and he angles them in such a way that it's a flank charge for my Forsaken. And I did try to tell him, you know, hey, that's for the Forsaken or whatever. You don't want to do that. But he had already moved him. He took his hands off. The kid's got honor. What can I tell you? And he decided to leave him there, and he said to just let him play, you know, and let him make mistakes and capitalize on them if I could. He wants to learn, and hey, you know what? That's how a lot of us older guys learned how to play, by getting our teeth kicked down our throats. So if that's the way he wants to play, who am I to say no? That's how I learned. So that's the way it was. And then his Doom Wheel did move up a decent amount actually, but not enough. And it ended up that his conga line of rats was the closest unit to shoot at. So that was a bullet dodged, and that was something else I think he learned during this game too, that he should have his Doom Wheel up a lot further and away from the rest of his army, so that he could have possibly shot my Demon Prince or my Chimera and destroyed them. Over here, his magic really doesn't do anything. I'm able to dispel it. I think he rolls rather low, to be honest. I think it was like a 4, and I channeled, so it wasn't really that great. I was able to dispel it no problem, and I have a dispel scroll now, which is kind of exciting. But his shooting phase, there's really nothing I can do about. So he takes a careful aim with one of the warp flame throwers or something like that. I'm not exactly positive what it was, but it was accurate. He hits like 8 or 9 of my Forsaken. But luckily, the strength wasn't all that high, and 3 of my Forsaken end up eating it. So the stragglers died. I still got 12 Forsaken. That's plenty to do some damage to some Skaven, so I was feeling pretty good about that. Next up, he fires off his Doom Rocket at my Corn Warriors and lands pretty much perfectly. I think he missed one or two guys. It was a little disheartening because I got to be honest. Usually, when I see a Doom Rocket fired, it usually either misses or hits the Skaven instead. This is the first one in a long time that has actually hit dead center where my opponent was aiming. And so, yeah, my Corn Warriors take one hell of a shot and just get pummeled. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of 18 Corn Warriors just get obliterated by the small tactical nuke that he fires at me. But you know what? I can't fault the man for taking a great shot like that, so what can you do? Then, over here in shooting, his warp lightning cannon, that's what it is, yay! It takes careful aim at my knights, hoping to zot a bunch of them, and misfires too. I'd be a liar if I told you I wasn't excited about the fact that the warp lightning cannon exploded itself in turn 1. I know I dodged a bullet, I know that could have been a lot worse, that thing is friggin' terrifying, but it worked out for me in this one, and I'll take it. I'd rather be lucky than good any day, right? So, with all the fun said and done, we go over to top of 2 after movement, and there's some. As you can see, my Demon Prince and my Chimera slam into the Doom Wheel, which is good because I just wanted one of them to make it. The fact that both of them did is huge. My Forsaken charged the conga line of rats in the flank, and that was an obvious charge, real easy to make. The Knights slam into the, I believe they are slaves in the middle there, and the Corn Warriors just kind of turn to go into the middle there and try to find something to distract or whatever. Its hope was maybe slam into something with the Beast, but they were so gutted they really weren't going to do anything in this game. I was just hoping that maybe 1 or 2 would survive by the end. Meanwhile, the Beast does try to charge Globadiers, but fails. That's why they're all scrunched up, but the Beast is only a few inches into the forest because he can't run. I like to think that he got tangled up in a tree because I just like the visual. And then my Disc Rider runs over and gets behind enemy lines to just try to start flinging his spells, provided my magic phase is generous. And that's what Firebug does too. He runs up to try to start taking aim at the Plague Monks. There's a better picture of the Demon Prince and the Chimera slamming into the Doom Wheel, which is good because I've got to kill that thing off as quick as humanly possible. The shots it can get off is just devastating. Here's a better picture of Lady Elizabeth and her knights slamming into the slaves, which is good because they needs to die. And here's a better picture of the Beast failing a charge into the Globadiers, I think, because, well, he got tangled up in a tree because I like the visual. Magic is a wash. He's able to stop it once again, no problem, and I don't shoot, so we go into combat, and my Demon Prince and my Chimera are able to put 4 wounds through on the Doom Wheel, which is huge. I was hoping that they would destroy it outright, but, you know, 4 wounds plus a charge. He lost by 5. I honestly don't remember if the Doom Wheel is stubborn or not. If it is, whoop-de-doo. If it isn't, then it lost by 5 because it did no wounds to me in return. I was able to make all my saves, which was good. But it ends up losing combat, breaking, and I run it the F down because, yeah, that thing is too dangerous to live. Just way too dangerous. Those 3 shots at D6 wounds each are just monster melters, and I just can't have that. I can't have it. But, yep, we overrun and run it down. Or, I'm sorry, we pursue and overrun, and we catch it no problem. And that's where we end up. Over here in combat, my Forsaken get poisoned attacks, I believe. That really helped because I was easily able to just mulch that unit of rats. Everything around does pass its panic check, but Forsaken are frenzied, so they have to overrun. Not that I was trying to stop anyway. And boom, we slam right into the unit of, I believe those are clan rats. And yeah, we're able to get into combat with them, which is good because, like I said before, quick, fast, and dirty is how you want to get into combat with Skaven, especially when they're big old ranked up bricks like that. Just you got to start melting them as fast as you can, right? Over here in combat, that's exactly what we do. We take out 2 or 3 ranks of these little bastards, and we don't lose any for our trouble, which is how I hope the rest of the combat goes until they're gone. But, yep, that's how it went, and, of course, they're steadfast and they stick. So, with all that said and done, we go over to bottom of 2 after movement, and there's been a little bit. His Globadiers finished a charge for the Beast. They go into the forest and slam into him. So now they're stubborn, which is a little frustrating, but, you know, the Beast failed his charge. He could have been somebody, but he wasn't. Other than that, the Storm Vermin did try to charge my Demon Prince, but they couldn't wheel past the slaves that were in front of them. That was just, I think, a ignorance thing on my opponent. He just didn't know that the Storm Vermin couldn't go through a unit on a charge like that. I tried to give it to him anyway, but the guy's a man of his word. He wanted to learn how to play right. He didn't let me give him anything, so it was cool. It was cool. He was like, nope, I screwed up, so be it. So I think, again, I got lucky there, but my Demon Prince was going to go into the Storm Vermin anyway, so I wasn't too concerned about that particular charge. And I know you can't see it yet because I took the picture a little early, but as you can see, the Plague Monks do move up. There's a better picture of his Globadiers slamming into the Beast, which is interesting, I won't lie. His magic phase is easily stopped by me, so we go into shooting. And as you can see, I am in combat with slaves with the knights, and so they fire at my knights there. And it's hard to see from this picture because it was a poor one. But not only do they hit the knights, but he also hits a few of my dogs with that template, which is a little poopy. But in the end, one of the knights ends up dying, and 3 of the dogs end up buying it, which really sucks. But you know what? The dogs always get killed. It doesn't matter. I'm more concerned about the knight that got pulped. And yeah, once the dogs took 3 wounds, they throw in the towel and just start fleeing. And that's where they end up, which is right in front of the Corn Warriors, which is too bad because I was going to have them charge that unit of rats in front of them. But you know what? I just like to think that they were going to fail that charge anyway, so this was destiny. Over here in combat, the Beast is able to just power stomp all the Globadiers into the ground. I think I did like 7 attacks, killing 5, and then Thunder Stomps, I think I rolled a 5 or a 6 and just melted the unit. It was very, very nice. But yeah, he does take 2 wounds. The Beast does end up earning 2 wounds for his trouble, but he does like 8 or 10, so it was worth it. It was awesome, and I win. Yay! So, over here in combat, once again, Lady Elizabeth and her unit are able to mulch another couple of ranks off of these slaves. It's not huge, but hey, it's going in the right direction. I don't lose any knights for my troubles. They're still steadfast, and they make their break check no problem. Over here in combat with the Forsaken against the Clan Rats, however, the Clan Rats are kind of, well, it wasn't really going to matter because the Forsaken end up getting Slug Brains, which is a little poopy, but what can you do? I wasn't going to end up stopping any of his attacks anyway. There's just way too many rats in the unit. But I end up losing 2 Forsaken to Clan Rats, which is a little frustrating. But, you know, 4-up armor, whatever. It is what it is. And I am able to kill off a decent amount of the Clan Rats in return. I win this combat. Of course, they're steadfast, and they make their break check no problem. So, we go over here to top of 3 after movement, and believe it or not, the dogs rally right in front of the damn Corn Warriors, so what can you do? Meanwhile, the Demon Prince and the Chimera slam into the Storm Vermin with his General and his BSB attached, and the hope there was to kill off that unit as quick as possible so that his General stopped giving away his leadership to the 2 units that were in combat with my Knights and my Forsaken, and the BSB stops giving them rerolls. So that was the hope, that was why they went, well, and that was the best thing I could do. So that's where I went there. Meanwhile, the Beast kind of goes around to the flank of the Plague Bearers to try to get his spell off. If I could get the number 6 spell off on them, that would just be glorious, but I'd take any of them. And the Disc Rider and Firebug just kind of maneuver themselves slightly so that they can start working that unit down into a pulp. There's a better picture of my Demon Prince and my Chimera slamming into the Storm Vermin because that's awesome. And once again, my magic phase is completely neutered, so we go into combat. And Lady Elizabeth's unit and the Knights are able to kill another rank or so of the slaves, I believe, which is good. I'm not happy about that, but I lose a knight for my trouble. It's like, oh no, I'm running out of knights, so I'm really nervous about this fight now. I was kind of hoping that maybe Khorne would come over and like frenzy my unit or something real quick, but apparently he doesn't do that. So yeah, just getting a little nervous here. Of course, I win this combat, and they're steadfast and they stay. Over here in combat, I get poisoned once again on my Forsaken. I'm able to kill a handful of the Clan Rats. Not a lot. I think these guys had hand weapon shields, so he started making a lot of his parry saves. And by a lot, I mean like 1 or 2. So whatever. I'm just whining. But I lose another Forsaken. It's a fair enough trade-off, I guess. I end up winning this combat, but of course they're steadfast and they stay. Over here, this combat is just brutal. The Demon Prince uses his flaming breath. I think both of their stomps, I did like 11 stomps altogether. It was insane. They of course attack, and I think I kill like 20 storm vermin. It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal, and I take no damage for my for in return. I think the Demon Prince might have taken a wound, but with all the wounds he did, I was able to soul feeder it back. It was really amazing. Just how much damage these guys can put out into infantry is breathtaking. It really is. But in the end, they still had a rank or two, so they were steadfast and stayed. So we go to bottom of 3 after movement, and there's been some. His big unit of plague monks charged my dogs, and he only needed like a 7 to hit the dogs, so I was like, well, maybe I should stick it out. But then I thought, well, no, he's just gonna hit and kill the dogs, and then he's gonna do a simple overrun into my warriors. It's not like they can flee, and then they're gonna kill them as well. So I was like, maybe I'll flee with the dogs. He'll need a 9 on 2d6 to hit my warriors, and that is much harder to do, or at least math says it is, and screw math. But yeah, so I flee with the dogs, thinking, now you need a 9. Yeah, he rolls a 9, not a problem at all. So the plague monks go into the corn warriors, and you can imagine how that's gonna go. Meanwhile, the other unit of, I'm not sure if they're clan rats or slaves, to be perfectly honest, the other big brick of infantry that I have not touched, turn and go right after the beast. They get right in his face, and I think the idea here was just one of those, I dare you to charge me thing, and don't think I wasn't tempted. Other than that, everything he's got is either in combat or dead. There's a better picture of the plague monks slamming into the corn warriors, and I was worried about that. I mean, the corn warriors are still frenzied, so it's like 19 attacks, 20 I think, because I've got a unit champion, so it's still a decent amount of attacks, needing 3s and 3s, because plague monks are toughness 4, I believe. But these guys ended up having that banner with you get to reroll hits and wounds and stuff like that, so I was really scared about how my corn warriors are going to face up against something like that. But it's a dice game, so there was always a chance. During his magic phase, I don't remember what spell he got off, but it was this weird like plague cloud thing or whatever. It's one of the Skaven spells, but as you can see, it's just devastating. My Demon Prince ends up taking 2 wounds, my Chimera ends up taking a wound, I lose 3 Forsaken and another Knight. It's devastating what this spell does. And he didn't even Irresistible Force it, he just rolled really high. Again, I can't remember what it is. It's some sort of like pestilence cloud or something like that. I can't remember, I'm sorry. But it was an amazing spell, and I was perfectly situated for it to go off. So, needless to say, all my attacks are going after that guy after this. After all that was said and done, we went into combat, and over here, my corn warriors just get obliterated. Just obliterated. I mean, I don't know what the math is or whatever, but I only kill 7 of these guys. With 20 attacks, I only kill 7 of these guys, needing 3s and 3s. I think I rolled a little low, but you know me, I like to roll all 6s when I hit and wound, so whatever, I'm a whiner. But he ends up killing all 7 of my corn warriors. There's no need, I mean, I think they're frenzied, I think they might have to overrun, I'm not 100% on that, but he wins this combat by slaughtering my corn warriors. He did not run them down, so don't let anyone tell you different. It was brutal. It really was. Over here in combat, I kill a bunch more of the slaves, and I lose yet another knight. Yeah, my musician, no less. He gets the little horn thing that he has crammed down his throat, which was sufficient enough damage to kill him. But yeah, I win this combat, believe it or not, but they're steadfast and they stick it out, which is like, oh man, I'm running out of knights. And then in the combat over here, I lose a Forsaken. He loses like 3 of his, what's it called? Of his clan rats, which isn't enough for me to win this combat. I actually lose this combat, but thanks to the Demon Prince and the BSB being right there, I'm actually able to make my break check. But over here in combat, my Demon Prince and my Chimera are able to just thunder stomp their way to glory against the Storm Vermin. Once again, his general does not issue a challenge. I didn't bother because there was plenty of Storm Vermin for me to kill. And I think the Chimera takes another wound, but the Demon Prince is able to actually heal one of the wounds with Soul Feeder with the amount of damage that he did. They are, believe it or not, still steadfast and make their break check. So they're sticking around, but they're almost dead, which is very good. So, with all this fun said and done, we go over here to top of 4 after movement, and as you can see, there's been a little bit. The beast runs over. I'm sorry, the beast did charge that unit of. I'm not sure if they were slaves or clan rats, but he did charge them just simply because I was like, why not? It'll be fun. You know, the beast can hold his own against them, right? I hope. Oh, God. And they fail their terror check. They were out of range of the general. They were out of range of the BSB. They failed their terror check and only ran like 5 inches. The beast, on the other hand, rolls like 10 inches altogether and runs them down. Runs down that whole big brick, which was just glorious. This frees up the Disc Rider and Firebug to fly over to start harassing the Plague Monks as much as humanly possible. Other than that, everything I have is deader in combat, but man, what a movement phase. Right there. Look at that. The beast. Oh my God. Thanks to a failed terror check, he's able to run down that whole unit. You can see it in the back there. Just picked up the whole unit. And yeah, all thanks to a failed terror check. God, I love the beast. Absolutely love him. During the magic phase, I'm able to get fulminating flame cage off on the plague monks. I end up killing like 1 or 2, not many, not that it matters, there's still 30 on the damn thing. But now they can't move. This keeps them out of the game for another turn, because if they do move, it's 30 strength 4 flaming attacks into these guys, and I would love to see that happen. Just love it. After all that is said and done, we go over here to combat, and the Demon Prince and the Chimera are able to finish off the unit. The Chimera puts all of its attacks into the BSB and kills it. My Demon Prince puts all his attacks into the General and kills it. With the combined Thunder Stomps left over, they are able to kill off every single Storm Vermin to the last man. They turn and face the 2 units of rats that are beating the crap out of the rest of my army. So that's huge. The Skaven are gone. They lost their General, they lost their BSB, they lost a big unit of Storm Vermin, and now my 2 big monsters turn around and get ready to go into the rest of these infantry guys, because there's still a ton of work to do. During combat, the Forsaken, understanding that there's still a ton of work to do, get Slug Brains, because, why not, right? But yeah, not like I said, not that it mattered. They weren't going to do enough damage to take any attacks away from the clan rats they were currently facing. But they kill 4 or 5 of the clan rats, and I end up losing another Forsaken. But with everything said and done, I end up losing by 1. And everybody knows what happens when I lose by 1, right? I break. Even with the reroll, I roll like 2 10s. It was ridiculous. But yeah, I end up breaking, and then I roll like a 4 or something ridiculous, and the clan rats are able to run down to Forsaken, so they die a horrible death. But you know what? They did pretty well. They got the conga line. They held the clan rats up for a while. I think they were able to put a wound on the little warlock engineer in there or whatever. But it is what it is. I tried. And then over here, the final knights die. Oh, man. But Lady Elizabeth is able to kill, and the knight are able to kill like 4 of the clan rats. So 4 and a banner to 2 ranks, a banner and a wound or 2. I think I might have actually lost this combat, but thank God Lady Elizabeth stuck it out, and yeah, they continue to combat. But all my knights died to slaves. Well, and spells and shooting. I think 3 of them died to spells and shooting. But still, I'm out of knights. Lady Elizabeth still has like 20 of these things to deal with. Oh, no. But yeah, bottom line is the slaves made up their points by killing off the knights. So well done by my opponent, I must admit. So with all the laughter over, we go to bottom of 4 after movement. And his unit of clan rats turn around to go after the Chimera or the Demon Prince. Either way, they were all for it. The Plague Monks, they don't move because they got the Flame Cage on them, so they were nervous about that. Other than that, everything he has is deader in combat. During his magic phase or something like that, I'm not exactly sure what it was, but something gets off and it affects the beast. I can't remember what it is. I'm sorry. I'm just not that familiar with Skaven stuff. But it kills my beast. It puts the 3 remaining wounds on him and kills him, and my heart breaks, and it's sad. However, the universe is all about balance, and my opponent, in order to get that spell off, had to irresistible force it through and ends up rolling a miscast 5. And a miscast 5 is fantastic because it kills off all but 10 of the slaves, puts a wound on that little bastard that casts the spell, so that Lady Elizabeth can deal with. It took out 8 or 9 of the guys that were left, so that's huge. Huge that happened in that critical moment. Yes, it cost me the beast, but in all fairness, the beast got the Globadiers and that unit of slaves, as well as any character that may or may not have been in there, so I'm pretty sure if the beast didn't make up his points, he was very close. It sucks that he lost his points, but, you know, when you irresistible force something through that destroys the beast, you earned it. I got to give my opponent credit. He earned it. So that was huge, though, that unit got trumped down to that little itty-bitty, you know, chunk left, because I would love to get 80 points for the whole unit, right? In combat, his character, of course, declines the challenge, and 3 more of the slaves die, with 3 slaves dead and the banner. I win this combat, but they're still steadfast, and even with the general gone, they make their break check, which is just delaying the inevitable, because we go to the top of 5 after movement, and you're looking at it. The Chimera slammed into the clan rats, the Demon Prince slammed into the slaves to bail out Lady Elizabeth, and my 2 casters stayed exactly where they were to just start beating down on the, what's it called? The plague once again, because I don't really have anything else to answer them right now. Everything that I would have thrown at them is dead. Here's a better picture of the Chimera and the Demon Prince slamming into the 2 respective units to try to get the points for them. Magic is a wash, and I don't shoot, so we go into combat, and the Chimera ends up taking another wound, but he does a ton of wounds to these guys in return. I think he ends up killing 5, 6, 7, 8, I don't remember. It was a decent amount. There's only, what, 11 left out of... Alright, so he kills 7. 7 is still good. 7 at a charge. I win this combat. They're steadfast, however... their leadership isn't all that great. They do end up breaking, but the DE is blah, 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 blah. The Chimera does not run them down. They're able to get away from him. I just roll poorly on my pursuit roll, which is a shame, but they do get away. And then we go over to combat over here against the... with the Lady Elizabeth against the slaves, I believe, and they're able to kill off all the remaining slaves. The one remaining character that's left is... what's it called? The Warlock Engineer. He flees. He only goes like 7 inches, though. The Demon Prince and Lady Elizabeth pursue. They run him down, and the slaves are finally dead, as well as that Engineer. I think the Demon Prince is able to save a wound. I think he heals all but 1 wound on him. And yeah, so now the slaves are dead, and Lady Elizabeth is saved. So backup mission accomplished? I don't know. So after all is said and done, we go over to bottom of 5 after movement. And bottom line is his clan rats do not rally because they're below 25%, and his plague months turn to face the Chimera, and where the combat all is, because where else are they going to go? Nothing else happens in that turn. Nothing, because everything of his is pretty much dead or fleeing or, you know, whatever. So we go to top of 6 after movement, and Lady Elizabeth and Lord Tremendous just kind of go, I'm not going to go into that unit. There's no reason to attack the Plague Monks right now. The Chimera charges the fleeing clan rats and either catches them or flees off the table, or they flee off the table. I think he catches them. I'm almost positive that I catch them. And my 2 casters move over to the flank of the Plague Monks because they don't want any piece of that. They just want to try to magic it off the table. There's a better picture of Trifection finishing off the clan rats, and so the Forsaken have been avenged, which is nice. Nothing else happens in that combat because my magic phase just isn't happening for me. So we go to bottom of 6 after movement, and the only thing that happens is the Plague Months take a Hail Mary charge at the Demon Prince. They need like an 11 or 12 to hit, and they fail, and they end up right where you're looking. There's a better picture of the failed charge. It was a Hail Mary charge. If he had made it, it would have been a miracle. So, and even if he did make it, I don't know how that would have went for him. The Demon Prince is pretty tough to kill. But there it is, everybody. End of the game right there. What an incredible close combat game this was. I mean, I have played Skaven before in the past, and I know the tar pit scenario and stuff like that, but I have never seen Skaven fight quite as well as this guy's Skaven fought. I've got to really hand it to him, and I got to be honest, if it wasn't for some real key, like, snafus in my opponent's strategy and his luck, like his Warp Lightning Cannon dying and his Storm Vermin being stuck behind the slaves and stuff like that, I got to be honest with you, I think that I would have lost this game. Maybe, who knows, but like if his Doom Wheel, if he had just positioned it better or something like that, or if I wasn't able to charge it like I wanted to, or if it had gotten a shooting phase at all, I gotta be honest with you, I think that I would have lost this game because my opponent played these guys really, really well, and if it wasn't for just this typical Skaven, shenanigans, ooh, it was a close game, but these are the best ones. I really enjoy playing these games that are really close. But you know what? Let's get to the recap in a minute, because right now it's time for a quick timeout. Hey guys, I know I've already talked to you about this before, but you should really check these pictures out because they were all painted, including my model, by Unleashed Wargaming. And they have their email right up there at the top of the page, and they've also got it down there. They got a YouTube channel. He's working on a website. It's not quite ready yet, but yeah, really, if you get a chance, check these guys out. If you're looking for someone to paint your stuff real good, seriously, check these guys out. Go to his, send him an email, check out his YouTube page. It's really worth your time. It's a phenomenal job. It's quick, it's painless. You don't have to worry about painting your stuff. And soon I'll be running a model that these guys painted for me, and I'm very excited about that. But check out these pictures. Give this guy an email. Check him out on YouTube. Get your models painted by him if you can. It's totally worth it. And tell him Tremendous sent you. But yes, in the end, if you couldn't tell or not, it was a victory for Lord Tremendous. I ended up losing my Warhounds, my Khorne Warriors, my Forsaken, and my Knights. However, the Skaven ended up losing everything but the Plague Monks. So, all in all, we didn't do the exact points. It was pretty obvious. But yeah, I ended up winning this one because the Plague Monks, I think, were like 300 points, maybe 400. I don't remember. Even if they were 500, didn't matter. I had that easily in the Demon Prince and the Chimera, and with all my characters still alive, and I was pretty, actually it was yeah, all my characters and my Chimera left, so I won this game. Maybe not a massacre, but definitely a win. I got lucky. Simple as that. The Warp Lightning Cannon misfiring to death in top of one was, or bottom of one anyway, was huge. I was very, very, very fortunate with that one, and I know it. However, I wasn't fortunate everywhere. That Doom Rocket direct hitting into my Khorne Warriors and gutting the unit, killing 10 of them. Holy sweet zinch. I mean, come on. Come on! Skaven players, you all know how rare that is, that the Doom Rocket direct hits like that. Don't lie. Don't go in the comment section and lie. We both know. We all know. That was a good shot. I can't complain. That was really awesome. But it's rare that I played Skaven where the close combat is just so intense. I mean, just every single combat I was like, oh wow, there's still like a horde of these guys left. I'm not doing enough damage. Meanwhile, he's taking 12 to 13 of these guys off at a time. It's just amazing. Amazingly well played. Well put together list. I was very, very impressed. Lost all my infantry. All my infantry. My Forsaken got beat down by clan rats. My Khorne Warriors got, well, they got doom rocketed, and then the Plague Monks just had their way with them. But even my Knights, even though, yes, there was shooting involved and magic, they still got pummeled. And I think if I had, if Lord Tremendous hadn't have gotten in there in time, I think Lady Elizabeth might have had a real problem there. I gotta be honest with you. But yeah, a lot of really, really good close combat in this one. I've really got to rethink my strategy against Skaven lists like this, because I just don't have the endurance to put up with them. I got lucky here. But having Trifection back in the list paired up with Lord Tremendous was just an infantry demolisher, which is great. I really enjoy having him back in the list too. It's a great model. It's a great paint job. Thank you, wife. And just all in all, great great addition to the army. I'm really happy with the way it's sitting around now. But wonderful game. I love this new opponent. He's a really cool guy, really good army, and I think he's going to be a real force to be reckoned with once he gets a handful more games in and gets some more experience, cuts his teeth, if you will. But yeah, for the most part, I'm really looking forward to the rematch. Should make for some really good battle reports. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for Battle Report 135. Oh, man. And a few people have asked where, what's-her-face, Token Gal has been. She is on vacation and getting married, so she asked me to pull her ads so that people wouldn't send her emails while she wasn't, you know, around to do any tokens or anything like that. And when she gets back, don't worry, me and Token Gal are still friends. But yeah, when she gets back in town and stuff like that, and she's settled down from, you know, being a Mrs. Token Gal now, I will put her ad back up and everything once she's ready, and you guys can get your tokens at her leisure, or however that works. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it. So as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.